Thank you, everybody, for listening in to The Agenda with Michael Melaku and Johnnny Torres. Yeah, you got it, Chris.
Welcome back, everybody, and I just want to thank everybody who listens in. We're being joined by Dr. Teresa J. Bryant. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here.
Teresa, can you tell us, a little bit more about who you are, your history?
Okay, sure, absolutely. My name is Dr. Teresa Bryant. I am a registered nurse by profession with a PhD in psychology. I have over 30 years experience with counseling individuals dealing with depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, marital problems, relationship problems, conflicts, coping skills, and even mental illnesses. I've been experienced and have my own practice. I'm actually listed and verified by Psychology Today. I can be found in Psychology Today. And I specialize in youth, women, individuals who suffer from abuse, neglect, and mental challenges, including adult and children who have psychological disorders. Oftentimes today, we're encountering so many different conflicts, and I try to help individuals with conflict resolution as well as some strategic, in a supportive atmosphere, some strategic technique in terms of handling difficulties and things that they're experiencing throughout life. That's who I am professionally. I have a legal nurse consultant degree, so I also assist attorneys as the medical expert when there are cases that may involve maybe murder or some type of malpractices or anything that, they may need a medical expert to advise them regarding the case. On another note, I am the executive pastor of V5 Ministries. I pastor alongside my husband. So I have a spiritual entity to me as well as a natural entity. And I think it all comes together. I'm also, some may know me as Lady T with the Seasons Lifestyle Magazine and Seasons Talk TV. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a mother of 3 wonderful daughters, been married for over 36 years, and just enjoying life generally and love people.
So the core reason of you pursuing to accomplish even further as far as helping people, what kind of benefit do you personally, receive from this?
Well, just the joy of seeing people overcome difficulties. By trade, like I said, I am a registered nurse as a profession, and I work in the emergency room. When the individual comes into the emergency room, they are at a critical state. They're at a state where we need to triage, we need to decide if this is a life or death situation. And just to see them evolve from almost at death's door to us being able to send them out of the emergency room smiling and, that situation of emergent being resolved gives great, great pleasure. So similar to the emergency room, I think helping people on a counseling level or whether it's a ministerial level or whether it's my outreach, at another country, ministering or, assisting with building schools or medical centers, just to see, things evolve from a nothingness to a state of accomplishment is just great to see. I'll give an illustration in Haiti. I was working alongside a doctor friend, she being the CEO, me being the international outreach coordinator, going to Haiti and physically looking at land and seeing barrenness. We're talking about a community that had no electricity, that had no school, for the individuals to attend. The children could not afford a quarter a month. So that's what their public school costs. We here have public school that costs nothing. They couldn't even afford a quarter a month. And just seeing that and being able to bring in generators and electricities and building a school and building a medical center, to go from seeing barren land and mapping out, I remember sitting on a porch and me and my girlfriend mapping out, okay, well, this is where a classroom could go, this, where this can go, and then to see the end result, just like at the emergency room, just the provision of a need that from bareness to, see a need that has been now fulfilled is just, amazing. So the joy I get from that, or whether it's somebody that I'm counseling that comes in and their marriage is destroyed and seeing the people love again, or mental challenges and getting the person, whether it's medicated or just stabilized emotionally because of traumatic events or whatever the situation is, just to see them evolve and go from a period of where some may feel like they want to commit suicide, or others may be homeless and now they have a home. Just going from one, extent to the other is just, magnificent. So that's my joy. That's my motivation factor to see the end result.
Is there a particular aspect of what you do that you love the most, or that you get the most satisfaction from?
Oh my gosh, that's a challenging question. Anything that helps people, and as broad as that may seem, it barely the answer to the question. Whatever the need is, that's where I get my greatest joy.
Tell us, what are you exploring for 2017?
2017 is an interesting year. I believe that it's a year of manifestation. A lot of things are going to be manifested. What I'm exploring personally on a personal level is just to increase my knowledge base, and also in terms of ministry, we're looking to build a still building. So that's something that we're looking at, or exploring, if you want to, categorize that as exploring. My husband has recently retired, so just even traveling the world at a whole new level, is something that is going to be in my immediate future in 2017. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at.
One of your areas of expertise is that you're an author. Can you tell us about the book Destiny Dwellers?
Destiny Dwellers. Woo! Destiny Dwellers is, I'm excited about this book. This book, actually, I'm looking to relaunch. That's something I probably should have said about 2017. I'm really looking to relaunch and to expand it a little bit and to make a little bit more of a working base for this book. Destiny Dwellers is a book that talks to you about reaching your destiny, but not just reaching your destiny, but the principles that are applied that will help you to stay there in and dwell in destiny. Oftentimes, we may accomplish things, but we're not able to retain it. Some people may open up a business, but then the business goes bad and they're not able to retain it. People have, accomplished wealth and they're not able to procure, more funding or whatever the situation is. But this type of book gives you the fundamentals and the baselines of what principles need to be applied in order to stay there once you have overcome the battle of defeat. So that's the focus of Destiny Dwellers. There are some chapters that kind of trigger you to look within yourself. Like, for instance, one of the chapters is about dreams and dreaming big, and then asking you, what dreams have you given up on? So it's a book that focuses on not only the principles of reaching destiny or your future goals and accomplishments, but just tapping into the real you and examining who you are. Are you a quitter? If you're a quitter, we know the saying, quitters never win and winners never quit. So I have a chapter in quit quitting, so we have to just mentally stop quitting. Some days we get up and we quit on our own selves. We quit on our goals. But if you'll never win by quitting up. And one of my favorite quotes from the book is on page 19. And in that chapter, Quit Quitting. And my quote is, failure is not final until you stop struggling to succeed.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
How is your relation to your work ethic? You being executive pastor at E5 Ministries, is that correct, the way I'm pronouncing it, right?
Absolutely. Perfect.
So does your hope and faith and your belief override some of the worries you may have, carrying you into your work ethics to be on time, to be fierce, and to have the passion to find fulfillment, and at the same time, help others?
Oh, absolutely. To me, in terms of me personally, that's my entire life is a faith walk. I have challenges just like anyone else with time management and fulfilling goals. And I believe that God is, again, the first and foremost of my accomplishments. I believe that because my faith is strong, and I do believe that even before I enter a situation or things that I get, I'll say attached to, I ask God and I trust God to help me along the way. And yes, when I feel like giving up, when I feel like quitting, when I feel like forget it, I want to spend time doing something else, God is that trigger that may remind me, hey, you have an assignment. Hey, you have to fill this. People are depending on you. I often say, can God trust you with the assignment?
Right.
If God can trust you with the assignment, then who are we to give up on the assignment? It's just like anybody else, our families. When Matt is trusting that his father's going to feed him, Johnny's not going to let him down or not, let him starve. People trusting in us to help them, whether it be you are, again, a counselor and people need you to counsel them, whether it be, again, the people in Haiti that need a school and are trusting that you're going to build a school because you said so. So my mom used to always say to us, let your word be your bond. So because we have spoken it, we have to fulfill that. We have to do that.
And that is true. It looks like you've been, through a lot of schooling. You must be academically, well off, if you will. It's interesting though, because it seems, it comes off as if you accomplished a lot, but even still, just the experience is just, impressive. So can you enlighten the listeners on what you've been through as far as, the schools you went through and the academics you came to achieve?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I tell you, it's funny because I say the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know anything.
True.
It is so funny because in nursing, it's like the more I learned about nursing, the more I realized I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg. So I guess I'm a little bit of an overachiever to an extent because even in nursing, I always felt like I had to be twice as good to be considered half as good. So I various different elements of nursing. So actually my extensive experience, let's look at nursing alone. Nursing alone, I started out in mental health. I worked over 15 years at a psychiatric hospital, and then I went to kidney transplant. Now that's an extreme right there. From mental health to like kidney transplants and acute surgery, it's like, how do you go from that to that? It's from one end of the spectrum to the other. So I did acute surgery, and then I went to cardiac care, intensive care, burn ICU. Because I was working for the kidney transplant unit, I decided, the dialysis nurse usually comes in and dialyze patients. Let me learn dialysis. So I did home care dialysis. I did, and then I ended up being emergency room nursing. So I kind of went to various different schools throughout the process. One of the schools I went to was Farmingdale University. Then I took some courses at Stony Brook University where I almost got my baccalaureate degree. And then I went to Delphi. I went to Malloy College. That's where I got my legal nurse consultant and did some more baccalaureate studies and legal nursing studies. I ultimately got my bachelor's of arts at St. Thomas University, my master's in, what did I do my master's in? I have to think sometimes. My master's is in Christian counseling, and my doctorate is in philosophy. So I went to quite a few schools. Started out in Farmingdale, then transferred to Stony Brook. I went to W.C. Post. I went to LIU. I went to Delphi University, St. Thomas University, and probably so many others. But that's a little bit of my educational background, academic background. But I just love learning. So I just love learning. That's just a part of who I am,
Yes,
but again,
you must have the hunger. Yes, you must have the hunger for that.
Yeah, I do. And I just recently got my insurance license because I wanted to have a broader knowledge base with insurance because I had disability insurance and life insurances from young ages. So I wanted to, a little bit more, know more about, the working of the finances when it came to mutual funds, when it came to insurance policies, which dib and dab a little bit into the stock market. So in order to do that, I went and got my license myself, So I love learning. I do.
That is great. Let me ask you, do you have any advice to the young people that is up and coming?
Absolutely. And this sounds so basic. Robert Kiyosaki has said things such as this. Napoleon Hill writes a book about Think and Grow Rich. At the end of the day, simple, basic, think big. That's it. Think big. And once you have gotten those ideas in your mind and seek out to accomplish those things, you're going to win. You're going to win. Oftentimes I tell my daughters and other young people that I talk to, and it's also stated in my book, do not limit your thinking or belittle your thinking to fit the mode of other people. Don't feel as if you're not going to make it. Don't feel as if you can't accomplish it. Nobody can limit you but you.
That's
Only
right.
you can allow them to limit you. Going back to that statement, failure is not final until I stop struggling to succeed. No matter how hard it gets, keep going. I talk about the little red engine. Remember that story? Johnnny, you guys might remember that. Have you ever read that story, the little red engine that could?
Yes,
and it starts to say, I think I can, I think I can, I think
Of course.
Remember that story?
Of course.
So I talk about that story in my book. And I said, but by the end of the day, that red engine, as it was going up the hill, it says, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's like all the things that we learn as adolescents, from old sayings and stuff. It's true, very true.
Exactly, yeah. So Clement W. Stone said, positive mental attitude. That's what it's about. PMA. Everything's about the positive mental attitude. Napoleon Hill talks about that positive mental attitude in his book, when he speaks about Think and Growing Rich. I say the mindset, that's half the battle. Never give up. Quit quitting. Just do it.
That's true. That's
Just
true.
Do it. Make it happen.
That's true,
That's
Johnnny.
my tagline for 2017 is slay every day, all day.
That's true. So true. That's true. Johnnny, you got a question?
Yeah, absolutely. After hearing and seeing is believing through your many accomplishments, you're still setting goals, and you mentioned a lot of people that are known for bringing the laws of these success, these principles that are,
right.
When something's a law, it's scientifically proven, so it means that it's backed by science, so they actually work.
Right.
Absolutely. What do you want to let people know about, Dr. Teresa J. Bryant, Miss Lady T, that they don't already know?
If they don't already know, I want you to know, if you have not met me, that, I have a heart for people. Things that you may not know about me, that even though I have a heart for people, even I too can wake up and feel like I just don't want to do it. So don't look at the accomplishments and think that, every day she's just motivated. Every day she's just doing what she do. It just comes easy. Because people look at your accomplishments and they have a tendency to think that. But I want you to know that I fight every day just like you fight. I fight, the mental anguish that may try to spiral me into a negative thought process. I fight against time management. I fight against balancing family, friends, and work, So when you look at me and you see the outcome being positive and being productive and being successful, know that you too can have the very same outcome. Because when you cut me, I bleed too. You understand? Sometimes we look at people and we feel like, they're so, far off the chart that, it's almost like they're untouchable and it's unrealistic. But you too, and the young people that are listening and everyone that's listening to this telecom today, know that you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. You really can. And again, nobody can limit you in regard to that. Yes, some people have, they start off with, better situations. Some may have had a silver spoon in their mouth. But let's look at even Donald Trump. I mean, I look at myself and I used to tease and say, hey, I'll be a billionaire by now too if I was born a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, he had some challenges as well. He's filed bankruptcy several times. So regardless of wherever a person starts, it's about where you finish. Know that you too, regardless, you can be poverty stricken. You can be born in a third world country. Does not mean you can't be successful. So what you need to know about me is that I am you and you are me.
That's wonderful. Inspiring.
So, you mentioned challenges. I guess at a certain point, some people have more challenges than others, especially when they start getting deep into more hardcore business or they have more business opportunities. What decision-making process do you go by, or do you use, or do you have any techniques that allow you to make better decisions?
I think it's really practice makes perfect, We're all dealt a different deck. We can sit here and we can play spades right now with 4 people, and all of us will have 13 cards dealt to us, and every single last one of those cards will be different. It's the same thing in life. It's not about just what cards are being dealt to you, but now how am I going to play those cards? Because me and my husband, we always claimed to be the king, queen of spades. Okay. We always say we're the master. You know, and we were sitting down, we were playing a game. And the first hand that we were dealt, we were not dealt a hand at all. And we knew we were going to be set. Now, you have to make what they call 4 books if you ever play spades. You guys know how to play spades?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you know how you got to make a board. You have to make 4 books, right? When we looked at our hand, we knew there was no way we was going to make 4 books, right? And let me tell you something. We got set the first hand. First hand set, they said, oh, game over. We said no. We refused for the game to be over. We wanted to play differently, okay? And this goes back to life. Everybody's given a different hand. We said no. My husband said, guess what? He said, we're going to climb out of this hole. Not only are we going to climb out of the hole, but we're going to beat you. And guess what? Even though we were given a horrible hand and we were given terrible hands even after that, one of the hands we had dealt again 13 cards and only had 4 books. But we were able to steal a book. In other words, we're thinking wisely, and they did a 9, which they had 9 books in their hand. So in other words, they would be that individual that has the better deal, the better business proposition, the funding to process it. But guess what? They had the 9 books, they knew they had it, and they got lapped. Sort of like the Patriots and the Falcons.
Right.
Remember that game? Falcons had that game in the bag. But they kind of like got lapped. So I got it in the bag. There's such a big, gap between us. Some people are like that. They may be dealt more in life. They maybe their parents had more. They gave you more, so they had a great hand, just like that spades hand. But guess what? They slept on us. And we were able to steal a book, and guess what? They got set with that 9, and that was the beginning of their downfall. And we beat them by over 100 points. Even though in the very beginning the game should have been over, and we should have called it quits. Because first hand set means it's over, right? The game is never over until you stop playing.
Great point.
You put in that grind, guess what? You have to win. You're going to win. Because failure's not final. So you what? Stop struggling.
And this is for, to everybody who, is trying to aspire to be somewhere, to be something, to be, successful.
Absolutely. And, like you said, work ethics is key, and decision making is very key. If you don't know, find out. If you make a bad decision, it's not the end of the world. Don't be afraid of making another decision. Make sure that the next decision, though, is an informed decision. So we have to be prudent with our decision making. We have to make wise decisions, and sometimes in the process of making those wise decisions, we have to say no to ourselves, no to our friends, no to people we love, no to business opportunities.
That's true. Being disciplined.
Yes, exactly. So I would say I have the power of no. God has just blessed me with that. The power of saying no. You can find me at any local bookstore, at Borders Bookstore. You can go to Amazon.com, any online bookstores I can be found. Or you can inbox me on Facebook, or you can go to my email me at Dr. Teresa, Teresa, Bryant, Bryant, @gmail.com. That's Dr. Teresa Bryant @gmail.com. And if you email me or give me your information in my inbox, then I will give you a signed autographed copy of the book. Or you can go, like I said, to any local bookstore or online bookstores. I can be found.
Great show. Thank you, everybody, for listening in to The Agenda with Michael Melaku and Johnnny Torres, and the guest being Dr. Teresa J. Bryant. Great show. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Woo, great.